Hey guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to the channel. So, the next point, if you like, really, is this is a thing to do with them being I don't know if it's a case of them being, because it's electric, or because basically they're automatic with no gearbox and no clutch, with what I'm about to say. I don't know the reason for it, but basically they're too smooth. They're too smooth, if that makes sense to you. So it might be because of the fact that they're automatic, as in they've got no clutch, no gearbox. In other words, they do all the work for you. The too smooth might be coming from that, or to be honest, to be fair, it might not have anything to do with that at all whatsoever. It might be because they're just like, in general, they're just electric in general. So maybe, you know, these fully electric cars are probably still, you know, as smooth or smoother as fully electric motorcycles. But what my point is going back on track now, is these are fully electric motorcycles. They're too smooth. Now, I'm not saying I don't like, you know, smoothness from a motorcycle, right? I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that these fully electric motorcycles are too smooth. They're too smooth to the point where, you know, I mean, my point is surely one of the main purposes, if you like, or like points or aims to actually riding a motorcycle is not so much it's got nothing to do with what the point I'm about to make. It's got nothing to do with like the mental side of it now, you know, like psychologically, mentally, neurologically, everything I keep on banging on about and going on about mentally and stuff like that. It's pure physical. So yeah, I know that makes a refreshing change from me going on about bloody, you know, mental all the time, but surely one of the whole, like, good, exciting points and purpose, exciting like thrills and enjoyments and purposes from riding a motorcycle is physically, you're supposed to feel the bike, aren't you? You've got to feel the bike. So what I mean it's bad enough the fact that they've got no clutch and they've got no gearbox, so you can't feel no clunk from that gearbox, and no pull from that gear lever, you know, from that clutch lever. You've got no pull from that clutch lever. You've got no clunk from gearbox. It's bad enough that they're like that. Even if you're going to make electric motorcycles with no, you know, where they're automatic, so they're not manual, so in other words, you've got no clutch, right? So you've got no pull from clutch, you've got no clunk from gearbox, right? At least do something where you're making them where, even if they are going to be automatic, alright, fine, have your way, fair enough, but compromise with people and put that bit more excitement into it, into industry, electric motorcycle industry. Like I'm going on about the electric exhaust, like soundbox and stuff in my previous video, but at least make it more exciting for people. you know where you know where you can at least like make whatever it is that you know you've got to make inside an electric motorcycle. At least make them not as smooth. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not saying make them really clunky. I'm just saying just don't make them as smooth. So you're still keeping the best that you can. That raw authenticity, that raw, you know, ethics, that raw proper ethical, that raw natural, as close to as petrol motorcycles as you can get in terms of the physical feel of them. You know what I mean? That clunk at gearbox, that pullet of the clutch, you know, because I've always said two things to do with these fully electric motorcycles. For whenever you're talking ultimate pure smoothness and ultimate pure, you know, silence, I've always said boring. And when you've got boring, right, that is the same as saying no adrenaline, no excitement, right, no enjoyment, apart from throttle the power, but until then you get used to it, yeah, right. But when you're talking complete and utter smoothness, complete and utter silence, you're talking boring. Boring is not joyful, not exciting at all. When you're talking not exciting, not joyful, not good to ride, because you're too silent and too smooth, yeah, too silent and too smooth, not silent or quiet or smooth. I'm saying for when you're going too far, for when you're making them too ridiculously smooth, too ridiculously silent, okay, that taking away that excitement because it's boring, you're doing one thing: you're taking away that excitement from the electric motorcycle industry in terms of trying to sell them. And that's my point. I think you will struggle massively to sell them because you're injecting boringness, yawning boringness, by taking away the excitement. You're swapping, you're replacing, you're substituting that excitement with boringness, with complete and utter boredom. And I think people very high up within the higher power of like industries and big corporate businesses and companies and all that lot, I think really they're focusing way too much on all these statistic charts being the shirt and tie office pen pushers that they are, that they're really underestimating, or they're totally forgetting, if I'm honest, totally, about what you've got to do to really inject that excitement or keep that excitement within the industry. You're that wrapped up and too fixated on, you know, your statistic sales charts and sheets and spreadsheets, and having monthly or quarterly important big boss, you know, feeling your importance, your big corporate meetings. I think you're underestimating this and forgetting about this, you know, excitingness involved in it. Really focusing on really what people want. You know? Now, like I said, I'm far from a mechanic, right? I ain't got a clue how really anything works on a bike. Oh, obviously bloody, of course electric I don't, but even really I still ain't got more or less close to a Scooby-Doo, not a clue on even the mechanics on how like a petrol motorcycle works, right? I'll admit, I'll throw my hands up in air, I'll be humble and down to earth. I'm useless at mechanics of a bike, either a car bike, anything. Knowing how things work, wrapping my head around things on the mechanics side of it, you know, like the whole mechanicalisms and mechanics of it and all that lot, and mechanisms. I ain't got a clue how things work, so it's either, the smoothness is either coming from because they are electric and nothing to do with the fact that they are automatic, no clutch, no gearbox, or the smoothness is probably coming from, because of, to be fair, because they are automatic with no clutch, no gearbox. So, because I've thrown my hands up in air and I've been humble and down to earth, and you know, I've admitted I know nothing about the mechanics of how bikes work and stuff, right? It's not down to me to problem solve for you, to come up with solutions for you on how to work around it, where you're making your electric motorcycles not as smooth. You're giving it that bit of that raw ethnicity, you know, edge, physical feel of a petrol motorcycle. That's down to you. That's down to you guys. You know, that's not down to me, because I ain't got a clue. If I knew, believe me, I won't be stubborn or stay silent. Well, I won't be stubborn by staying silent, by still saying no, that should be left up to you. If I knew, I'd basically tell you and you know what you need to do, but I don't. But that's all down to you guys, yeah. Like, it's like when I had my Yamaha Phase off 600 before it got wrote off. Even just even without even a tad of throttle, when you just used to sit on it, when you used to pull clutching, when you used to knock it down to first gear, to obviously of course very first set off in, even before even a tad bit of throttle, it was just that clunk from gearbox, you know, from popping it into first, that I absolutely just loved. And that's what it should be all about. Even just the very, very, very small, minute, little, what people might think are unnecessary, pointless, unworthy, little stupid, pointless things. To me, they're so big and massive. It's something just as little as that, you know, that good strong clunk of a gearbox. When you feel it as well, just jolt you forward. It's brilliant. And then when you used to like release clutch slowly, even without any throttle, it was just that jolt. It was that pull, if you like, or that jolt from your releasing clutch that just jolted you forward, just pulled you forward, that I absolutely loved. And that's what it should be about. Anyway, that's it guys. So feel free as well to put in comment section to any of my videos at all, even more to the point, any of these fucking hell, don't know what rules of the fucking UK roundabout, idiots. I haven't said this in quite some time, so I'm like saying it again to revisit it. Let me know in comment section to any of these 4 parts, you know, these 4 separate individual videos that I've done on why I really don't like electric motorcycles, but also there's a possibility of what needs to be done about it to make them more like petrol ones and stuff like that. You know, to sort of like make them as still not as bad, so industry can boom and grow. Just let me know whatever you want to say to me. Put it in comment section. Whatever your whole thoughts, feelings, opinions, judgments are, anything. Speak from Ed, speak from Art. Don't hold your punches, let it rip, let loose. I don't disable any comments, I don't remove any. I certainly do not hold any for review or out like that. You can say what you want to me. But yeah, visit and watch all 4, this being the 4th and last one, and then yeah. Alright guys, so yeah, I'm going to leave it there. You've been with me, the Autistic Biker. Remember, if you are riding, ride safe. Watch out for them other idiots out there on the road. Alright, right, until next one, I'll catch you at next one. Until then, I'll see you later. Alright, thanks, see you later, bye.